Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here today. We're going to dive into an important topic, understanding crime through social structure theories. Specifically, we'll explore how strain, social disorganization, and cultural deviance perspectives help explain criminal behavior. This approach gives us valuable insights into the social environments and conditions that influence crime, and I'm excited to share these ideas with you. Let's get started. When we talk about social structure theories of crime, we're looking at how the way society is organized can influence people's behavior, including criminal actions. One of the main ideas here is strain theory, which focuses on the pressures individuals face when they can't achieve their goals through legitimate means. This frustration can sometimes lead to crime as an alternative way to cope or succeed. Then we have social disorganization theory, which shifts the focus to communities, suggesting that when social institutions like family, schools, and local organizations break down, crime becomes more likely. Finally, cultural deviance theory tells us that certain groups develop their own values and norms that may clash with those of the wider society, leading to behaviors that are considered criminal from an outside perspective. All of these theories highlight different but interconnected ways that society's structure impacts crime. Strain theory suggests that crime occurs because people feel pressure to reach certain cultural goals, like financial success, but they don't always have the legitimate opportunities to do so. When the usual paths to achieving these goals are blocked or out of reach, individuals might turn to crime as an alternative. The key idea here is the disconnect between what society expects and what people can actually access. This gap creates frustration and strain, which can lead some to break the law in an attempt to meet those societal standards. Understanding this helps explain why crime isn't just about personal choices, but also about social and economic barriers. Social disorganization theory suggests that crime tends to arise when key social institutions and control mechanisms within a community start to break down. For example, weakened family structures can reduce neighborhood cohesion, making it easier for crime to take hold. Schools also play a critical role. When they're ineffective, they fail to provide the guidance and support needed to keep young people engaged and on a positive path. Residential instability is another important factor. When people move frequently, it disrupts community bonds and weakens social networks that help maintain order. Finally, poverty is a major contributor. It undermines social control and creates conditions where criminal behavior is more likely to occur. Together, these elements illustrate how interconnected social factors can influence crime rates. When we talk about cultural deviance theory, the main idea is that crime doesn't come from individuals acting alone, but rather from people belonging to subcultural groups whose values clash with those of mainstream society. These groups develop their own unique norms and rules, which can actually support or excuse criminal behavior. In these subcultures, criminal actions aren't just overlooked, they can be seen as normal or even encouraged. This helps us understand how environments and peer influences shape the way people behave, especially when it comes to breaking the law. Let's start with strain theory. This concept suggests that crime often arises when people face economic hardships or obstacles that block their legitimate paths to success. When their usual opportunities are blocked, frustration builds up, which can push them to find alternative, sometimes criminal, ways to achieve their goals. Next, social disorganization theory highlights how certain neighborhood conditions contribute to crime. When an area lacks strong community ties, experiences frequent resident turnover, or struggles with poverty, the informal social controls that usually keep order break down. This creates an environment where crime is more likely to occur. Lastly, cultural deviance theory looks at the clash between the values of certain subcultures and the dominant societal norms. In these cases, people may adopt the rules and behaviors of their subculture, which society labels as criminal, because those norms provide them with a sense of identity and belonging. This conflict explains why some groups engage in activities seen as deviant by the majority.